everybody. Welcome back up to the Vinyl Attic. We're having a special discussion about 45s today. I know we're in the middle of a vinyl revival and everybody is getting their hands on albums and spending a lot of money for vinyl. We just had Black Friday record store edition. I was just at Music Millennium earlier today, and it was packed with people paying, $35 for an album. Because it's a special version. And I think in all that, we forget about the importance of 45 RPMs. Back in the day, as a kid of the 70s and before the 70s, you had sort of three ways to get your hands on the song that you wanted. One is you could just wait for it to come on the radio, maybe call up and say, hey, would you play my favorite song? Two is if you had the money, you could buy the album that the song was on. But the most common way is we just would plop down $1 or less and buy the 45 RPM, the single. The single that would have an A-side, the hit, or the song that we wanted, and would have a B-side, maybe a song that nobody ever heard of before. And that's how we collected music. And before I really got into album buying, most of my record buying was 45 RPMs. I have a stack in this collection of songs from the 70s, Billy Preston singles that are a part of my original record collecting experience. So, and they were great because if you had a good record player that had sort of a drop thing on it, you could stack the 45s and you could put, 6 45s in the order that you wanted, and it would play one of them, and then another one would drop down on top of it, and it would play that. It was sort of, it was our original playlists. The way we would stack our 45s. But I want to talk about a particular band that has a particular relationship with 45 RPMs, The Jam. The Jam is a band that I love. They were kind of my generation's version of The Who. They were sort of the melding of The Who and punk rock, and they exploded onto the scene in 1977. I kind of caught up with them about 1979 when I just became a huge fan. And power pop, guitar, bass, drums, songs about working class life in England, and powerful. They started off as teenagers when their first record came out. I was a teenager, so they were my band, and I was a fan of the mod movement, being a Who fan, so they were mods also. So it was just a natural fit. This is a band that greatly transformed my life, including my sense of style. You might recognize this jumper. That's the homemade one that Paul Weller's wearing. This is the one I bought in Paul Weller's favorite shop on Carnaby Street, Milandi, in 1982, I think. Paul did it. We had to have it. So, and in those days, your average record store at Kmart, the record, section of Kmart or Sears would not have any Jam albums or singles. So there was a little record store in Atlanta called Wax and Facts that sold cool imports and punk rock records. And my mom would drive me in when I was 15 years old from Stone Mountain, Georgia, to buy these cool records, including these singles by The Jam. And so they became so important to have these. It was like a Homerian epic. I was like Agamemnon going through the fire to get into the city to get these Jam records that had these such valuable songs on it. There was no other way to get. So I wanted to share my little Jam 45 collection with you. I hope that sets it up and shows you why I love it. There's just a ton. And, I would buy anything sort of connected to the mod movement. There's this great Secret Affair single from 1980. There's a band that nobody talks about anymore. I'm so happy I have that as a mod artifact. Okay, let's go through some of these. I don't have the first single, which is In the City, but I got the second one from 77, All Around the World. The B-side is a song called Carnaby Street. I'll show you the front and back. Then we have the next single, which is The Modern World. There we go. The B-side is Sweet Soul Music and Back in My Baby's Arms Again. I mean, how mod is that, right? They're doing Motown and American soul music. This one is a favorite, News of the World. News of the World, they look so cool. B-side is Aunties and Uncles and Innocent Man. There's that. We're now into 78. The Eton Rifles. Eton Rifles. If you know about British schools, you know about Eton. B-side is Seesaw. Then we have, let's see, what's next? When You're Young and Smithers Jones. Oh, I love Smithers Jones. There's no way to get these songs, so Smithers Jones to me is nod to the Kinks. I think that's a Kinks song. And then this one, we talked about Ahmad Khan's in a previous episode, and how I think it's one of the best albums of all time. So Down at the Tube Station at Midnight is so great. But again, there is this reference to The Who, and what better way to do it than to put Keith Moon on the back of the record, and the B-side of this is So Sad About Us, one of Pete Townshend's best songs. So that's there. And then this one, the couple don't have sleeves. Strange Town with the B-side Butterfly Collector, which is another great one. And I bought this one. See, where did I buy this one? I bought this one in Record Tape and Video Exchange, 18 Notting Hill Gate, West 11, W11 in London. Strange Town. And then this is, Going Underground. Wow, what an anthem this song was. Going Underground and the Dreams of Children. Again, getting into sort of later jam era. And then the final one. There's a couple 12-inch EPs. This is a 7-inch EP for Beat Surrender, which I think is the last jam single, if I remember right, with Move On Up and War and Shopping. Such a great record. And sad, also. I mean, they were really moving on. And then, of course, that was it for the jam in 1982. They break up, and Paul Weller takes the direction the jam was sort of heading on and creates a style council. So here's the first style council, Speak Like a Child. And then this next one, Solid Bond of Your Heart, Solid Bond of My Heart, Solid Bond of Your Heart, that I bought at HMV on Oxford Street. Those are my jam singles. You really had to want these records. I mean, it became so valuable because you had to go through the fire. You had to go through all these rituals to get your hands on these songs, including some of these songs that aren't on 12 inches or B-sides that aren't on anything. You couldn't just stream it. You couldn't just, download it. You really had to go get it. And so it made this music so much more valuable. And I just love this band so much. I mean, look at these guys. Look at their shoes. I mean, there they are walking down Carnaby Street looking cool as hell. How would I not want to be a part of this scene? And, their politics, their philosophy, their energy, their poetry, just really captured the imagination. And I think kids today don't understand what we went through to get our hands on this music. It was hard. This had to be imported from England, make it into a record store in the city. I had to get my mom to drive me down. I had to have the money to get these two songs on the A side and the B side, all for this. So it made it so much more valuable, so much more valuable. Everything now is so easy just to have access to, but to go through the fire to get these singles from Paul, Rick, and Bruce. We love you so much, you guys. Oh my God. Okay. I just wanted to share that with you. I know we got a lot of Jam fans that have been watching this channel. I wanted to share my Jam 45 collection with you. We are going to next talk about a great soundtrack album featuring the Ramones. We're going to talk about Rock and Roll High School. So we're going to do that next. But it's the holiday season, so I've already started in on the eggnog and whiskey. So hopefully it won't be too long before I'm back up here. But you know what I'm going to say? The Jam matters. The Jam was the voice of a generation, linked so many Yanks to the youth movement in Britain. We're right there with you fellas. And these 45s matter. You matter. Let's talk about it.